Well, hello everybody, it's Dr. Carmen Bryant, and this is Car Chronicles. How you guys doing? You doing all right? Well, come on, let's do this. Okay, as you see in the title, let's talk about when the narcissist supply lives in denial and creates their own alternate reality. What does that mean? I'm glad you asked. Let's talk about it. You already know that when a narcissist gets a source of supply, and some of you, a lot of you, were that source of supply. You know, you were probably the main supply. You may have started off as a secondary supply. They're going to sell you a dream that doesn't exist. They're going to create a facade. They're going to create an illusion. They're going to tell you things during that love bombing stage that really, it makes you desperate for them. It makes you want them. You know, and a lot of you guys were the side chicks and the side dudes, you know, and you became the primary supply. And for a lot of us, we heard the story. You know, I include myself in it because I was one of them. You know, a lot of you heard the story. Well, we're going through a divorce. He or she won't sign the divorce paperwork. It's kind of complicated because I got kids, or I have a large investment, or, you know, they're trying to take what I got and I'm trying to be strategic, or, you know, things haven't been right for a long time, just been holding on, you know, whatever story they sold you, you know. I don't care if they're not divorced, they're still married. I don't care what the situation is, you know, they're still married. And a lot of you were so, you know, the love bombing was so good because they played into your weakness. They played into your weakness of rejection or abandonment. And so they pulled you in there. They pulled you in there to have you believe something that wasn't so. Later on, you found out that they're not credible. They're liars. You know, you found out that I don't think that story was true. Now you want to go ask the former supply, and you know that you can't because you're embarrassed. You're embarrassed, you're humiliated, you're ashamed. That supply may have or may not have. You got to remember, though, that you fell in love with a dream. You fell in love with a facade. You fell in love with something that didn't exist, and you find out later on, as that mask fell, you find out that, you know, I don't think this story was true. I don't think a lot of this was true because I'm starting to see things that is not right. I'm starting to see things that they said that the other person was doing, and the character is starting to line up with them. And so now you're beginning to realize that this may not have been a true story. There may be another side to the story. But see, now that supply either has been a thorn in your side, or, you know, the supply was happy that you came and took that narcissist off of their hands, right? Now, the thing about it is that you have created a alternate reality for yourself. Now, if it applies to you, it does. If it doesn't, you know, I'm just keeping it real. Some of you guys get mad. It's all right. If you want to leave the channel, no big deal. You'll be back. But you know, now you're looking at the situation, you're realizing, and for some people, you live in denial because what did they tell you? I've never met anybody like you before. You know, you're very different than anybody that I've ever dated. You know, and then if you listen very carefully, everything was superficial too. It's about how you look. It's about how you had sex. It's about what you have. You know, the dream. They're building these dreams. They're already looking at your finances and your resources and already building a kingdom for themselves. And you don't know, but you're not included in it. They're looking at what you have. And if you're beautiful or you're attractive or you're handsome, you know, that's just a plus. It's like a hood ornament on the car. That's a plus because you have a lot of somatic narcissists, you know, looks is everything for them. So you fit the picture. You fit the magazine picture. But they are so shallow. It doesn't matter. They're so shallow. So now you have created, and some of you have discovered, you know, something is not right. I know something wasn't right because they look very much like the other people that you have been with. It's just that they didn't present themselves. And the more you fall for these narcissists, the better they present themselves. You know, but you're realizing, so a lot of you may be living in denial. They're probably not a narcissist. They probably just have narcissistic traits. You know, because they fit the profile, they fit the description to a T. But because you are in denial and you don't want to believe, I'd have made a mistake again. I made some pretty poor choices. You know, I'm embarrassed. I can't. And some of you are staying because you're embarrassed to admit that you made a mistake and you were bamboozled. You know, you didn't fall on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock fell on you. You know, you realizing now that you've made a big mistake. So it's an embarrassment. And see, they work with your pride because they also picked up that pride. Pride is just another form of fear. And they picked up on that pride because you're too ashamed to admit, or you're too ashamed to say, I made a mistake. My picker was off. So and some of you are living in denial. They just have traits, but I don't think they're totally a narcissist. But some of those traits are so, it doesn't matter whether they have traits or whether they have narcissistic personality disorder. How are you being treated? And the thing is that they love bomb you in the relationship. It's a part of the cycle. It is a part of the narcissist cycle. It's always a matter of idealization. They love bomb you, idealization. They put you on a pedestal, devaluation, discard, hoover. It's always a part of the game. That's how they do. They can discard you in the relationship. They silent treatment you. They ghost you because they may have somebody else on their mind. So they may ghost you. I need a break. I need to get away. I need to whatever. And don't move away. Now, you move away, you're giving them plenty of room to themselves. You guys know what I'm talking about. You're giving them plenty of room, and what's done in the dark always comes to the light. The problem is when it shows its hand, when they show their hand, when they show you who they are, you don't want to believe it because it was too good to be true. They sold me a dream. They made me look foolish. I look like a fool in front of all these people because I'm the last one to know. Right, and hope is the last thing to go. And you still have that hope because you're still looking at the calling card that they presented. You're still looking at the character they presented to you. You're still looking at what they, the love bombing part. You're still looking at what they presented to you. They have a good game. They have a real good game when it comes to finances, selling a dream and everything. That if you notice, they can never put legs on. You're the one who makes it happen for them. I'm going to do another video about that. But they sell you a dream and you're the one that takes their dream and put legs to it. And then they take credit for it because they're the one that spearheaded it. If it wasn't for me, you wouldn't have been doing it in the first place. But they're like that cuckoo, that I think is a parasitic cuckoo. The cuckoo that lays their egg in another bird's nest and allows that bird to raise that hungry hippo cuckoo in the nest, and it kicks out all the other little birds, and the parent is driving himself crazy trying to feed this ginormous parasitic prehistoric cuckoo, and that's what that narcissist is. They sold you a dream and you put legs to it, and you're living in denial because you don't want to believe that that's actually what you have. You don't want to believe that because it feels so good. And they make me feel, and they do all these things, and they bought this, and they do this, and they make me feel good. And then when they love bomb you in public in front of all these people and tell you, and they rub your head and tell you how wonderful you are, and this is the best thing that's ever happened. And I know I've made some mistakes. See, they'll tell you about, they'll tell the world about all the mistakes that they've made, and I know, and even to a point where you threaten to leave and they throw themselves on the floor. All of a sudden they musty. They don't even take baths anymore. They're crying and snot coming out their nose and oh God, don't leave me. I can't make it without you. And they do it in front of all these people and friends, and they embarrass you to kind of force you to change your mind to come back because they're so sincere. It's an act, child. A narcissist knows they're the greatest actor in the world. But you have now created this alternate reality for yourself, and you live by what you think people see. So I'm going to make sure I portray myself the best way possible. I'm going to make sure that when people see me on social media or see me in public, I'm happy. I'm happy-go-lucky. Things are working out. On the inside, you're broken. On the inside, you're falling apart. On the inside, you are so embarrassed and so humiliated because this narcissist has sold you They sold you a dream that does not exist. They sold you a nightmare. They sold you a facade. They sold you something that didn't exist, and now you feel bad because you made the mistake. But you've created your own reality, and when someone pokes at that reality, you fight back. You make sure you get them straight and get them in line. And I got this, and I know, and I love my man or my woman, and you don't tell, and I'll make it work to death do us part. You come up with everything because you're in denial and you're angry when people point out the truth to you. They're never going to change, and they get worse with time. And they love bomb you in your own situation. So you could be married to them, and then they'll discard you or they'll do whatever, and they make you feel like crap. And then they love bomb you back. And that's what you're craving because you're addicted. You're craving the love bombing part. They make you feel good about yourself. But now you're beginning to realize something is not right. But it's hard to accept it, so you're still living in denial. You're still creating your own world that you think people will want to see and what the world wants to see, when in reality a lot of people are fine-tuned and they know exactly what you're going through, or they know who you're dealing with. They just won't say anything to you because if you love them, we love them. If you love her, we love her. We ain't gonna say anything to you. But these videos are going to help you, even if it's private. Just keep on watching the videos and build up your strength. It's an illusion.